What's going on, everybody? Tyrone Johnson here, going live here on Tuesday. I'll be going live every Tuesday during the summer break until about I'm trying to think. I don't know, for a little while. Be going Tuesday, be going live. And I got a few things I want to get to today. And obviously everybody can watch it on YouTube a little bit later on. But and with the Phillies going on, we can watch it together as well, as the Phillies are up 1-0 on Washington. But one thing that's come up with this recent trade deadline deal with the Phillies is Trey Turner, and I want to get to that in just a moment. As a few people are able to trickle in, I just want to be able to talk about that for a moment, and then we'll get into Kevin Durant basically trying to justify what was the weakest move in the history of sports. It was the weakest move in the history of sports, and now trying to use LeBron in his 40s going to the Sixers and trying to rationalize it like it's somehow the same thing. And then also on social media, due to my friend Devin Caney, I saw a tweet that she sent out where all of a sudden my name came up from certain people, not from Devin, not from anybody else, from some fans, and how we have to be careful in this landscape who we bring up and who we don't bring up. So those are the things that I want to get into today. So those three things: Trey Turner, Kevin Durant, trying to compare the LeBron move to when he went to the Warriors, which is ridiculous. And then people bringing up the sports landscape, the sports radio landscape in the city of Philadelphia, and just bringing up things that just aren't true. So I'd like to lay out some truth there. But the question has become from a lot of fans on this Tuesday is whether or not Trey Turner is selfish. Because, after the trade deadline, what the easiest move would have been for Trey Turner, who's a butcher at shortstop anymore, to move to the outfield, and then Stott moves to shortstop, and it's all done. Harper's still at first, Bo's still at third. Instead, obviously, a lot of moving parts because he's still at shortstop, even though he stinks at it. And there's a lot of fans that have this weird relationship with Trey Turner, who has stolen money since he's gotten here. His batting title meant nothing. He hasn't been clutch in the postseason. He was not on the team that went to the World Series. He got a standing ovation he didn't deserve. By every measure, Trey Turner has been treated better than any athlete in the history of Philadelphia and has not earned. Ask yourself, if you're old enough, who was treated better, Jimmy Rollins or Trey Turner as far as a shortstop? And the answer is clearly Trey Turner. And Jimmy Rollins won a World Series, and Trey Turner's been treated better. I mean, we just know that. Jimmy Rollins was an MVP, a literal MVP, and we know for a fact, we just know that he was treated worse than Trey Turner. So when people ask, is Trey Turner selfish? The answer is obviously a resounding yes. He's selfish. The question is, and it's just a question, the question is, does he have a right to be selfish? Because these other people, Bryce Harper chose to volunteer to temporarily move to the outfield for the betterment of the team. And then next year he would return to first base. Stott was willing to move, and Stott doesn't really have a lot of leverage yet to say no. And Turner put it in, he got it in his contract that if he was going to move from shortstop, they have to ask him. They can't make him. So the only way to move him would be for him to volunteer. But we know it's obvious that he's selfish. It's obvious that he's selfish, because if he wasn't selfish, he would move to the outfield, because he's hurt the team since he's been here at shortstop, because he's not good at the position. He's just not good at shortstop. That's just the truth of the matter. He's not good at it. So when we're talking about this, I think we have to start looking at it a little bit differently and just look at it like, yes, he's selfish. There's no question that he's selfish, but should he have went to the outfield? And do you think he has the confidence that he can play out there? Now, Bryce Harper hasn't played out there in years. We know what happened with his elbow. We'll see how he plays out there. But of course, the answer is yes when it comes to whether or not Trey Turner is selfish. He's selfish. That's just the truth of the matter. It's ridiculous that he's still at shortstop, frankly. The easiest move would have been him to left or right field and then go from there. Everything else just falls into place. Stott would be a tremendous shortstop. Instead, he has to go all the way to third base when he's played a Gold Glove level of second base. So, and then also look at your corner infielders now. You have Bone with no pop, and you have Stott with no pop. And you're talking about winning the World Series with both of your corner infielders with no pop whatsoever. If any way you slice it, it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous move to have that light of those light bats at those spots. But that just is what it is. That just is what it is. Is what it is. It's simple. Yeah, it's simple. So I don't understand why anybody would why anybody would even question it. It's simple. He's selfish. Period. He's selfish. Um, and that's that. He's selfish. Trey Turner is selfish. But I want to know, and anybody out there that's watching can type in, why, again, why is he treated so well? Why does he get a pass? I mean, $300 million, no production. Why does he get a pass? Why? Yeah, why does he get a pass? It's kind of simple. Why does he get a pass? And that's the part that I want to understand. Because, in my opinion, it's been clear that he's stolen money. It's clear that Trey Turner has stolen money. It's obvious that Trey Turner has stolen money, and he's gotten away with it. And it started from the first time he did his opening press conference where he thanked his in-laws before his own parents. And it kind of goes from there. I mean, and that pathetic standing ovation he got, which he didn't deserve. Like, it's nice that fans chose to do it, but it was still, look what it's gotten you. I mean, it's kind of like Philly, in my opinion, lost some of their, and somebody, because he chose us. What does that mean that he chose us? Bryce Harper chose us. We didn't give him an undeserved standing ovation. We're going to give LeBron one. But not if he stinks. They'll boo LeBron if LeBron stinks. Sixers fans won't treat him like that. Hell, Phillies fans don't treat anybody else that way. Okay? Phillies fans don't treat anybody else that way. It's just very odd to me that Trey Turner gets treated the way that he does. It's simple. It's just weird that he gets treated the way that he does. And that's that. And of course he's selfish. So maybe it works out. Maybe the Phillies go on this nice run now. Maybe everything works out. But the truth of the matter is, the question is Trey Turner selfish? Because everybody else had to move. Bohm has to move. Harper has to move. Stott has to move. And he can just stay there. And he's just looking around like, nothing to see here. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I see Chili Beats 5 says, never should have gotten the ovation sharp as all. Of course he shouldn't have gotten it. Now, and here's the thing about that ovation before we move on to the Kevin Durant, LeBron James things that we'll get to in a little while. And the question is, was he asked to move? Here's the thing. It's in his contract. I don't know if you heard it at the beginning. He only moves if he wants to because it's in his contract to stay his shortstop. What he didn't do, Harper went to them. Bohm and Stott went to the GM and said, went to Dombrowski and said, hey, if you make some moves, I'm willing to move. He just sat there and was like, huh? What y'all want for dinner? Dinner's on me. Well, yeah, I got $300 million. I got plenty of money. Well, dinner's on me. And that's what it comes down to when it comes to him. That's just the truth of the matter. That's what it comes down to. So, and it's just pathetic. It's just pathetic. Now, the one thing about that ovation, and the reason I say it was clearly a mistake is, what did you get? Did you get the movie moment? Remember, he didn't hit the day of the ovation. He got hot the next game after the ovation. Remember that. He didn't hit that game. And then at the end of the season, you didn't get the World Series because please understand, okay? Really understand. Had they did the ovation and the Phillies win the World Series, then by all means, it was a smart ovation because you saved the Phillies season, you saved their fate, and you made a movie happen by winning a World Series. But that's not what happened. The ovation got him going a little bit, undeserved, and you haven't won shit. And that's ultimately my issue. They haven't won a damn thing, okay? And think about our frustration with the Sixers. We'll get to them in a moment, pre-LeBron. Think about our frustration with the Flyers, with Eric Lindros during that era. Think about that frustration. Nobody on those teams got an undeserved standing ovation because we know we can make the playoffs in these sports. We know that. Ultimately, the only thing we want is to win the whole thing. And again, being that it's been a while now since they won the whole thing, but it's not ancient history. It's not 1983 like it is with the Sixers. We're sitting here in 2026 from something that happened in 2008. Okay? All right? And I just think that at the end of the day, it's ridiculous that he got that standing ovation, has still not paid it off. And the only way he pays it off is winning the World Series and being a big part of it. So he hasn't paid it off. And then when this time comes where the team is falling apart, he's not willing to sacrifice and move positions when he's the worst defensive player in that infield. Harper's better than him, obviously. Stott's way better than him. Bohm is mediocre, but he's still better than Trey. And Realmuto is still an elite defensive catcher. He's the worst member of that infield when it comes to play, and he's the one that's not moving. He's the one that's not moving. Now, all that said, you got a hit machine now behind Bryce Harper. That guy doesn't strike out. It's exactly what he needs. 2-0. He's 2 for 2 now with RBIs in both at bats, and he's a great add-on to the lineup. So it's not about him. It's not about him. It's about the fact that everybody on the defensive part had to move. So that's established. Trey Turner is selfish, period. Now, let's get to this Kevin Durant, LeBron James thing. Obviously, in Philadelphia, we got the LeBron mania. We can't wait to get to late October. We don't want to rush summer. But we're looking forward to football season at this point because we don't believe in the Phillies. We're going to watch the Phillies. I'm watching the Phillies right now. But we don't believe in the Phillies. So we're looking for football season and we're looking for basketball season right now. And we don't believe in the Flyers. Again, we're going to watch the Flyers. Flyers fans are going to watch the Flyers. And the Flyers will probably be a playoff team again. But we don't believe they can win. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about belief. We're talking about believe the team can win the whole thing. What percentage of Phillies fans really believe they can win the whole thing? What percentage of Flyers fans believe they can win the whole thing? The number's under 25%. Okay. But Kevin Durant has come forward and said, when I went to the Warriors, they only had 2 20-point scorers. The Sixers have 4 20-point scorers, so it's bigger. And this is where I have a problem with Kevin Durant because I'm a Kevin Durant fan, but he's got to cut it out. He's got to cut it out, okay? This is the difference between I can't believe it. There's so many differences, but let's start with Kevin Durant was playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder and lost game 7 to the Warriors in the conference finals. The Sixers have not been to the conference finals since 2001. So that's one difference between LeBron James moving to the Sixers now and what Kevin Durant did, okay? And what Kevin Durant is doing right now is trying, for whatever reason, what he's trying to do right now, which I find to be pathetic, is he's trying to excuse himself for the weakest move in history, to go to the team that beat you in the conference championship game, in the conference finals, game 7, and then you join them to win 2 titles, and then he hurt his Achilles. That's why he didn't win 3. Toronto won. We know what could happen if the Sixers, blah, blah, blah. We know that history, right? For him to say that is perhaps the weakest thing in the history of the world. We know he's so full of it. Here's another layer on it. Well, we just mentioned also LeBron didn't just lose to the Sixers. In addition to that, Joel Embiid has an injury history, okay, and has no rings, okay? Jaylen Brown has a ring. He has 1 ring, but you just saw he was the best player on the team that blew a 3-1 lead, okay? We know Maxey has no rings. We love him, but he doesn't have rings. Edgecombe doesn't have rings. Dean Wade doesn't have rings. It's so different that it's kind of comical. And I'm really bothered by what Kevin Durant is trying to do, where he's trying to scapegoat LeBron because he knows that his legacy is forever tarnished by going to the Warriors. Now, the thought at the time from some people who are all wrong was, well, if Kevin Durant wins championships, nobody will care. But we know that's not true. People care, okay? Yeah, he won championships, but the way he went about it was weak. Really weak the way he went about it. To join the team that just beat him was weak, okay? Period. And to try to look at this move for LeBron James, which, yes, obviously is a move to try to win, but every move should be to try to win. When people say, oh, he was ring chasing, every move should be ring chasing. But the difference was KD had a team that was good enough to win a ring, and he left it. The Lakers were not good enough to win a ring. The Lakers right now, that roster, plus LeBron playing for the minimum, will not win a ring. Cleveland would not win a ring. Miami would not win a ring. He can win a ring here. But you're talking about a team with one guy that's a frontline guy on a championship, not guys that have already won multiple rings without LeBron, and then LeBron joined them. And for all the heat LeBron James took for the, quote, super team in Miami, what Kevin Durant did, just being factual, is anywhere from 20 to 30 times worse. And we know that's to be the case. But right now, and I don't think Kevin Durant has ever gotten over the fact that people don't respect what he did, okay? I like Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant's better than Larry Bird. I think Kevin Durant, you can make the argument, being that LeBron's a small forward, that KD's the second best small forward to ever walk the earth. You can make that argument, okay? We know he's one of the top 5 scorers to ever live, and you know he's a walking bucket and is still a bucket. We know that. And we know when he was younger, he was a tremendous defender. Kevin Durant can ball. But to suggest that this move from LeBron in his 40s is the same as him leaving the team that was good enough to make the conference championship game, Game 7, and leave that team for the same team that just beat you, that's apples to apples, is just ridiculous. In fact, he said this one was worse. It's just not true. We know it's just not true, period. And I don't like the things that are happening where people try to taint and stain this situation with the Sixers, okay? We know how this is going to go all season long. The Sixers are going to have the most national championship, national TV games, nationally televised games in all of the world. They're going to have 1 trillion of them. They're going to have the most, okay? And you're going to have, when healthy, the best starting 5, not only in the league now, but the best starting 5 in Sixers history. You're going to have the best player to ever walk the earth, a former MVP, and a former finals MVP, 3 different individuals in the same lineup to go with a 3-time All-Star in Tyrese Maxey, who's going to be in the mix for the scoring title, I believe. I believe other people will have to sacrifice. I don't think Maxey's going to have to sacrifice his shots. I think he's going to go out there and get you 30-plus a night. And VJ Edgecombe, a year 2 player who many people believe can be as good as Dwayne Wade. That's a scary lineup, okay? That's a scary, scary lineup. And it's the best in Sixers history. But we cannot compare this group to what happened with Kevin Durant, both on the court, where Curry, Draymond, and Clay were already multiple-time champions together and had already beat Kevin Durant. And that part of it bothers me a great deal. And that's another thing, honestly, that kind of pisses me off about Trey Turner. Trey Turner was supposed to be the Kevin Durant piece to get it done here when he came here. And it has not worked out that way because of him, because he's not that guy, okay? And I loved the move at the time, but it was a mistake. To pay Trey Turner $300 million was a mistake by the Phillies. It just was. It was a bad move. I don't think we're going to be saying that 1 year from now with LeBron James. I think we'll be talking about how epic the parade was, because I don't know the last time the last time we had a warm weather parade was 1983. You're going to have people scantily clad at this parade. Think about how cold some of these Eagles parades have been. It's been quite chilly, all right? It's not going to be the case with this Sixers parade. You're going to have people half butt naked, okay? Ladies flashing. Might be some dudes flashing. Whatever makes you, whatever you're into, that's what we're going to be getting when it comes to the parade, okay, this coming June, late June of 2027, because that's what's going to happen, okay? So that's the only thing that this LeBron move to the Sixers and that KD move to the Warriors have in common. The only thing they have in common, literally, the only thing they have in common is it's going to lead to a championship. KD goes there, they win a championship, the Golden State. LeBron comes here, the Sixers are going to win a championship. But outside of that, there are no comparison. There's nothing similar to this. And I'm telling you, people out there that are trying to find fault in it, it's for a couple reasons. KD's trying to protect his own legacy and ego, and other people are mad that they're playing for second place. New York being the number 1. My buddy Craig Carton, nonstop. It ain't gonna work out. LeBron this, LeBron that. You better get over it. You better get over it. You better get over it because they're going to win not just one, they're going to win two. But I'll take it one at a time. I'll take it one at a time, okay? Now, there's one other thing I want to address that makes me uncomfortable, to be honest with you, but I'm going to address it anyway as the Phillies are up 4-0 over the Nationals. And it makes me uncomfortable to talk about this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So Devin Katie, friend of mine, you know, she now works in Chicago, used to work at WIP 94.1, was talking about, you know, just living her life or whatever, about, you know, making a living wage and doing different things in media. And somehow in the comments, I come up because another one of my friends, I'm not going to give any names, brought up Black hosts in Philadelphia that weren't professional athletes and women that are hosts in Philadelphia that weren't professional athletes. And as far as who works there now, I have nothing bad to say about anybody. I want to make this very clear. I mean, Chunas, I like Chunas a whole lot. I'm talking about the people that I know. I like Chunas, you know, Hunter. He's still on the air in Philadelphia. Hunter's my friend. I like him. I like Ricky Bo. I like Bill Colarulo. There's a lot of people on the air that I'm friends with and I like. As far as I like Ike, him and I have been cool. So I just want to make it clear, I'm cool with a lot of people. I don't have anything bad to say about anybody that's currently on the air in the city of Philadelphia. What happens is a lot of times is people will work in the industry, and then when they're not working there anymore, they have a bunch of bad things to say about people that work in the industry. And I don't have anything bad to say about anybody that works on any of these stations. I want to make that very clear. The only thing that I want to address, and again, it makes me a little uncomfortable, but I'm going to address it anyway, is there are people that say, well, they use me as an example. Okay. Well, Tyrone was on the air and he wasn't a pro athlete. Listen to me. And this is where I'm uncomfortable. Yes, that is true. And I'm thankful for my time doing it. I want to make that very clear. But I just want to be clear about what happened there. The people who hired me don't work in the city on the station anymore. I won't say the name of the person who was in charge of the station, but that individual, a very good man, no longer works in the city of Philadelphia. And that program director that hired me works for a different radio station now, okay? Just to be clear. Therefore, when we talk about the current atmosphere, just so we're clear, I just want to be fair. When we talk about the current atmosphere in Philadelphia, you cannot bring those individuals up or the current management there because that current management, okay, that current management isn't there, okay? So I shouldn't come up, okay? The people there didn't hire me. Those people there should not get any credit for anything I did in that way because they had nothing to do with it. The people who should get credit for it either don't work in the city or don't work at that station anymore. And I just want to make it, that's why I don't want to be involved at all. Okay. I have nothing bad to say about anybody that's on the air. I wish everybody a ton of luck. I hope those guys are all doing tremendous on their shows. But when these conversations happen, right, I don't need people bringing me up because those people who did that, who chose to hire a Black person or a woman, etc., who wasn't a former pro athlete, those people don't work there anymore. So I don't want you to give credit to people who didn't deserve it, just like I wouldn't want you to blame anybody who didn't deserve something, just so we're clear. And that's why I'm a little uncomfortable with the whole thing. But I just want to make that clear. So when you see these threads and people talking about things, note that the person who hired me is not available to hire you. Okay, the person that fired me is available, but not the person that hired me. Okay, and that's both the person who was in charge of the station and the program director is not available to hire you. Okay, just so we're clear. Okay, and I have no ill will with the people that fired me either, because honestly, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm doing pretty well right now. I don't know. Feel better, look better. more handsome. Anyway, so that's that. So 3 things. Let's just cover before we wrap everything up. And I appreciate everybody watching it live. I appreciate everybody who will watch it later on YouTube. And listen, the people that say that I was the best part of 97.5, that's clear. That wasn't true. Okay. If I was the best part of 97.5, I would still be on 97.5. Only thing I'm saying is do not give credit to anybody for doing something that they didn't do. And the people who made that bold move don't work there anymore and were not rewarded for that great move. I just want to make that clear because I saw some things come up. The current atmosphere, it would require a different person making that decision. So, number one, clearly, Trey Turner, yes, he's selfish. It's ridiculous that he's still at shortstop, period. And listen, and I appreciate the opinion. I do appreciate the people that were big fans of me. I appreciate all of you. But it just wasn't true. If I was the best part, I'd still be there. But I do appreciate it a great deal when people say those kind of things. But number one, Trey Turner, clearly selfish. It's ridiculous that 3 other people had to move the position instead of just him. It's just be him and then Stock go to shortstop and call it good. That should have been the move. So, yes, he's selfish, but it's in his contract, and that's period. And he's been treated better than any athlete in the history of the World Series. You can of the World Series, of baseball, of Philadelphia, of whatever. He's been treated better. You can look it up. How quickly Mike Schmidt was booed after winning World Series MVP. You can look up when Ryan Howard and Jimmy Rollins were booed in April of 2009 after winning the World Series in October of 2008. And then look how he's treated. It's just ridiculous. It's also ridiculous that KD tries to compare what he did with the Warriors, the weakest move in the history of free agency. It just was. Doesn't mean he's not the second best small forward in the history of the game. But it was the weakest move, and comparing the LeBron move to the Sixers now, just ridiculous. The Sixers do not have a bunch of guys who have a cohesive unit that already won rings. They're just going to add another superstar. This is a group of guys that have to come together and gel to try to beat the Knicks, try to beat the Spurs, try to beat the Thunder. That's what that's going to come down to. And as far as the conversation about who's on the air now, none of the people that are in management now deserve any of that credit because they didn't exist. And that's really the whole thing. Do not include them in it. So when people are frustrated about something, they're talking about the current landscape, not the landscape in which I came under. The landscape I came under is different than the landscape of those other people. I don't have beef with anybody, but that's just the truth of the matter. I'm going to be going live for the next few weeks at least, every Tuesday around 7:15-ish. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to everybody next week.